The soundtrack is not, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid my wife is going to leave me. Everything I do must come from this scarcity. That's not the soundtrack. It is a song occasionally, though. So that's kind of my visual representation of this is if you got to tap into a song every once in a while, I don't think it's a bad thing.
What has gotten way bigger over time as I've matured is the desire to maximize what I am and who I am. The desire to see what I'm capable of. That's really what it comes down to. And I think the same is probably true for you as well. And
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1774, how much of your success comes from your low self-worth? We've been seemingly negative with a lot of our episodes lately. I promise this is not a negative episode, and none of these have been negative. I think we're just in this, I think we're in a very internal phase right now. Personally, which means we talk about a lot of internal stuff. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about how and why fitness is so important to me. And they challenged me, in a good way, not a bad way. They challenged me and said, well, what does it mean about you if you don't go to the gym? Why is it so important that you do go to the gym? What feelings do you get when you don't go? And it was just a lot of these questions. And I said, it was kind of in my mind, I know what you're trying to get at. I understand. I know where we're trying to go.
it's always my favorite. I just want to jump in here and share a quick story.
Please.
We went to a mastermind one time. This is a year and a half ago. And I'm not going to share who or where or any of that. But it's always been my favorite to walk into a room with Kev where he knows he's going to get coached by someone who isn't going to get it.
It's fair.
And it's my favorite thing ever to watch someone try to coach Kev who they think they're way ahead of you in everything, by the way. This is like really fun for me.
Yeah.
Kev walks in, very unintimidating, doing his thing, the ultimate cat dad, ready to learn, student mindset, all good. What's happening? My name's Kev. And they think they are just awesome. And I get it, right? It's a mastermind. It's hard to know who's who. And they don't know that you've put in tons of work. You don't exactly look like someone who is super, super professional and all that kind of stuff. You come in cash. It's okay. I appreciate it. You come in cash.
That's my thing.
Nothing's wrong with it. I'm not making anything wrong with it. But people don't see you at your true intelligence level at this stage and how much work you've done inner, outer, 1,700 episodes and all that we've learned through these deep conversations. And it's my favorite thing in the world to watch you try to explain to them that that's not why you're here. Like, no, I get it.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
Yeah, no, you're right. With the dad and I'm with it. It's so fun for me. And they're like, well, have you ever considered that maybe that's actually because you didn't have a father? If I had a nickel for every time someone said something like that to Kev, where he's not only met his dad, but talked about it 1,000 times and like publicly, it's just so fun for me for that. Well, do you think that has to do with the fact that you grew up without a dad? And you can just tell this person has no clue that you've basically done this work 1,000 times.
I always try to be respectful, and I say, I that is definitely something I could probably, yes, I definitely have looked in that mirror, but that's probably a mirror that I could look even deeper in. That's probably how I would answer that. Again,
and then what do they say?
Then it's usually like, oh, I could help you. We could definitely help you do that. It's like, well, no, I don't. We've crossed the line here. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thought, but my goal in life is to be the most self-aware version of myself. So there's a lot of things, just because I'm not doing it doesn't necessarily mean I don't know that I should be.
Have you heard about our Boys Without Dads program that you could use? Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm going to be fine. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
I remember one time Kev's like, listen, we're here to speak. It was funny.
I don't remember that. I don't remember what that was, but
we're here to interview.
I wonder if one of the reasons I do that is based on what we're talking about today, where if I come in under and you have very low expectations of me, I can overperform every time. That's probably a piece of it. Just a thought, maybe a jumping off point after. So this person was asking me these questions, like Alan kind of just said. They were trying to get to a route that I've gotten to a long time ago, but that's okay. They don't know that. They don't know that. Understandable. And they were trying to get me to admit that the reason I'm so into fitness is because I had low self-worth and low self-belief, and what I could not make up for in terms of my height, I could make up for in terms of the way my body looks. And honestly, Alan, one of the reasons, I said this on a podcast the other day. Oh, my nose hurts so bad. My nose is so dry. I said this on a podcast the other day. One of the reasons I'm afraid to get a therapist is because I'm afraid they're going to tell me to do less. And they're going to say, well, your work ethic comes from your trauma, and I know that. I know that. I don't want to make it go away. I just want to make it more positive. I'm not trying to get rid of that. I'm just trying to know more about it and learn more about it and have a healthier relationship with it, but I'm not trying to do less. I understand that a lot of the success that I have created in my life has been a coping mechanism for other things. I understand that. Mm-hmm. But now I'm trying to make sure that I'm running the chip and the chip is not running me. So I wanted to do an episode on it because I think there's a lot of people out there that have achieved a lot of amazing things. And the reason they have achieved the amazing things is because they have low self-worth and they're trying to prove themselves right, or they're trying to prove other people wrong. And it's, if you can find a way to put a positive spin on it. Now I don't like not going to the gym because I am the type of person that goes to the gym. It's not so I can prove stuff to other people. If it was about proving stuff to other people, I never would have got out of shape after COVID. If anything, I would have been working out during COVID. I wasn't. It's not about other people.
Yeah,
it's about
when
me.
Your self-worth came up, your fitness went down.
Yeah, right?
Same.
But that's kind of the process is sometimes you need somebody to call it out and say, hey, I noticed you're always on time and you're never late. Or I've noticed that you always are the first person here and the last person to leave. Or I notice you always are there for other people when you should be there for yourself. And those are all amazing, commendable things. But based on what I heard about your childhood, do you think any of that is just kind of leftover remnants of the way you were raised and the fact that you don't feel good enough? That right there could be a potentially life-changing awareness. So that's kind of my thought for today's episode.
So when I was first considering doing therapy at Emilia's suggestion, and she said, this doesn't mean anything about you is broken. I think you're the most amazing person I've ever met. I've been doing therapy since I was 12, and you're just leaving a lot on the table. And that was the best way she described it. She said, if you knew what you were leaving on the table, trust me, you'd do it. And you can't know what you don't know. No one can. So, and I was like, okay, here we go. My reservation was the same as yours. Mm. I was so fearful that I would lose my drive. I genuinely thought that if I healed a lot of the stuff that made me me, because there's something called an ACE score, adverse childhood experiences, and if you have a high ACE score, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, there's a ton of grit that can come with that. And I was so afraid to lose my drive and my grit, because those were my superpowers. Those are what I have. Like that, diamonds are created by pressure, and I grew up in an environment that made me love those parts of me. And if you feel gritty and you feel like you've got drive and you feel like you can run through an effing wall, you know what I'm talking about because you love those parts of you. You love that part of you. And the parts that I love most about myself are not necessarily parts that other people like about me. And I was so afraid to lose those. I was talking to Emilia on the way home from the gym or to the gym. I forget when. It's only a 2-minute drive, but we always talk to and from. And I said something along the lines of, I was so scared to heal some of that. I thought when I did that I would lose my aspiration. I would lose my big goals. I would lose my drive. I would lose my ambition. I would lose my desire to be the best possible version of Alan. And I told her, I said, that was not the case. Mm. I said, sweetheart, if anything, as I've done this work, it's amplified to an extent that's overwhelming me. Dude, I'm not kidding. I thought I'd end up, and I know this is going to come off wrong, whatever. I thought I'd end up lazy, and I thought I'd end up losing the chip on my shoulder. I thought I'd end up losing the underdog mentality. I thought I'd lose my hunger and my standards. I thought I'd lose all that. Kev, I mean, you tell me, brother, have I dialed that down at all?
No, definitely not.
If anything, I said the pie got bigger, for lack of better phrasing. My true self is more aspirational, actually. And trust me, I can't even begin to explain how that works, because from my perspective, I talked about this literally last night with Amelia. I said, my brain thinks in equations. So if bad childhood and trauma response was aim higher, work harder, get smarter, then if heal bad childhood, then no more aim higher, work harder, get smarter. Like that's...
Makes sense.
Thank you. That makes logical sense. She 100%. Said, nope, you're missing that you can transform all of that into who you really are and who you really want to be. And that's really what we're trying to talk about on this episode is, yeah, maybe a lot of what you've achieved in life has been a byproduct of running in the opposite direction of some of your trauma. But just because you heal that trauma doesn't mean you have to change direction. I mean, you might just amplify everything great about you and actually mitigate some of the weaknesses that are holding you back. And that's been my genuine experience. And I could not have shared that before this, because that's been something I've been going through and growing through over the last couple months.
I appreciate you sharing it. I told you that was a fear of mine too. I said this on a podcast today. We were talking about, somebody asked me last night, they said, how is the podcast and everything for you? Like, how is it for you? And I said, honestly, if I'm being honest, it's not really. It's not. I don't know if this is good for me. The overwhelm, the stress, I don't know if it's healthy for me at times. I just don't care. Whatever. I don't care. I don't really care that much if it's not healthy for me. I think I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been in terms of, for sure, getting 8 hours of sleep every single night, eating nutritious foods. I'm always hydrated. You never see me without my water bottle's empty right now. But I think that is like, I'm the healthiest there. But when it comes to the amount of suffering that this journey has created, I don't think it's that good for me. But I want to do it. Because there's that piece of me that I remember when I used to diet, my grandmother would say, it's not healthy what you're doing. And I would say, one, you're incorrect. You're false. You just don't understand. It's okay for me to be hungry. It's not a bad thing. I'm not going to wither away to nothing. It's okay. And it's okay for me not to eat all day. It's called fasting. I've been doing that for a decade.
It's my most fun.
And
I love when Kev gets coached. It's my favorite.
Mima, I don't know if you're listening, because we do a lot of episodes now. I know you were listening in the beginning, the OG, and I don't mean anything negative by it, but it was always that I don't care if it's good for me. I want the result. And let me figure it out. When I get the result, I'll figure out whether or not it was worth it. Alan, I showed Alan yesterday. I lifted up my shirt and I said, the abs are coming back. And Alan was like,
you weren't wrong.
Abs are coming back.
I expected worse than that, for sure. Strong work.
It's done in my mind.
You're ahead of me.
I know
tell
that.
You what.
I've been telling you that. I know
that.
I
know. I didn't know.
I'm suffering. Of course I'm ahead of you. I am suffering.
I'm
more
suffering
than you.
too, just not as much.
I know. Trust me. I know. But again, it's not about that. But when my
dessert is Greek yogurt with 2 Oreos in it, you know I'm suffering. Okay, that's all I have to say.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I don't even have dessert every night anymore. Unfortunately,
I thought you got the protein ice cream going on.
Only when I have enough cows, man.
Oh.
No, not tonight. Tonight's gonna be 10 ounces of ground turkey, 1 cup weighed raw dry rice, and then I'll have a cup of probably 2 cups of veggies. That's it.
Nice.
I will eat that, and then I'll have like 300 calories left. But I already had a protein shake, so that's 160. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I'll probably end up eating today. So I'm suffering pretty badly. But again, whatever. Number one, when I see myself in the gym, I am so inspired. It's amazing. I love it. I'm back in shape. I love it. When I take my shirt off to get in the shower and I have abs, I love it. Some people will probably see it because as I get leaner, I'll start posting more content in the group and probably online. But that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for other people. I have in the past, for sure. My bodybuilding journey was for other people more than it was for me. But you know what? I also wouldn't have done it just for me. I would have quit a long time before I did if it was just for me. I was doing it because other people, I didn't want to let them down. Now, you can't go too far. Don't go too far on that because you'll live your life in a way that's misaligned or inauthentic. But when I see myself in shape, it's hard to explain. I don't even know if I can explain it.
Oh, it's the best feeling in the entire world.
It's like
the best feeling in the entire world.
I'm back. Yep. And all of this work that has sucked has been very worth it because I see meaningful progress. But a lot of it's coming from the not good enough, the childhood trauma, the abandonment.
Is it still, though?
Because it's always there. When there's times in the gym where I think about my dad. Like when I'm going to a dark place, it's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. I've got that with stepdad, dude, for sure. Yeah.
But it's not
three more reps.
Blew
my shit out.
How dare you doubt me? You doubted me? How dare you doubt me? I'm gonna be something. I am going to be something. How dare you doubt me?
Nice.
But not from a negative.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's just I think now it's more of a tool that I can tap into versus the entire store is that. Now it's a tool. It's a song I can find. It's not the entire soundtrack. That's not what's playing all day. I need something painful. Like, let me find a painful song. Okay, Dad. Cool. Or somebody's got Taryn. You want to see me lift heavier weight? My goodness. I will do terrible things to myself for that. Like, take my leg, whatever. I don't care if I can lift the weight. I'll find a way to lift it. But that's not the soundtrack. The soundtrack is not, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid my wife is going to leave me. Everything I do must come from this scarcity. That's not the soundtrack. It is a song occasionally, though. So that's kind of my visual representation of this is if you got to tap into a song every once in a while, I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, so maybe it is a bad thing. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing for me. I think it's constructive for me. Alan, I think it's constructive for you for sure. Maybe there's value in that for you, whether you're watching or listening, especially if you want to be more gritty, more resilient. You want to build that external, real-world strength. I think that's one way to do it for sure.
Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. There's a lot of places we can go with this. Let me articulate high level what I see in Kevin's journey.
Oh boy.
High level. Movie day Kev. Born, father leaves, not feeling good enough on some level because of that and or circumstances. Okay. Has been disrespected by people of higher status like doctors and lawyers and educated people. Tended to be blue collar, thought that you'd only ever be blue collar. High level here. Chip on his shoulder, out to prove that he is of value. Short, most girls want taller men. It is what it is, statistically speaking. Facts are facts. Another chip on his shoulder, gonna prove that he's of value. Crushes it in sports, gets valued. Weight trains a lot, gets valued. Goes the separate road to college, even though everyone in our era was told to go to college. And then did very unique things. Tattoos, bodybuilding, martial arts. Potentially gonna fight for a living. Was reckless to get significance at times. wanted to make more money. Money equals success. Success equals significance, but also value. And was with a woman who realized that Kev had to work on himself. She leaves him because he was kind of unintentionally holding her back, which he's admitted to, by the way. And he's fearful. He's not confident. He's pretending to be more confident than he is, as many young men do, myself included. And he realizes he needs to change his life after suicidal ideation and creates a podcast called the Hyperconscious Podcast. Change the way you think, change the way you act, change the way you live. This is 7 years ago. And then just self-awareness, gets around someone who is very opposite to him but has similar core wounds and low self-worth. And we teach each other a lot through the different pendulums that we're on in every capacity. And then we heal together. You meet your dad for the first time at 27, and you face a lot of your past in a new way, and you add value to tons of other people, and you learn through that, and you learn through the podcast and listeners and coaching clients and all this stuff. You also get successful beyond what you ever thought was possible for you, realize that wasn't the answer, even though it definitely was part of it. Get married, Taryn, all of this. And then your self-worth increases. You actually lose, for a time, genuinely some of your drive and some of your hunger, and you and I, for lack of better phrasing, started getting out of shape. As our self-worth increased and COVID happened, we both significantly stopped grinding in the fitness arena. So we're starting to win in business, but not in fitness. And now it sounds to me like you have higher self-worth. It's very clear. You are more successful in many regards. You've achieved a lot of the dreams that you've set out to achieve. Not all of them by any means, but a lot of them. And now you're still wanting to be in shape, but what used to be in your old bodybuilding life for other people in significance is now actually more for you. And so that's what I think the journey of life is you eventually achieve your way, realize you're not increasing self-worth, then you increase self-worth, lose some of your drive for a short term, and then it transforms into, you know what, honestly, I don't have to be in shape anymore, but I still fucking want to. And that's what it's been for me. I don't have to prove to my stepdad. I don't have to prove but I still want to. The wanting to be more has not dwindled whatsoever. It's the needing to be more. It's the needing to be seen as more. It's the needing to prove it to other people. Those have gone very down, almost to a detriment, to be completely honest. What has gotten way bigger over time as I've matured is the desire to maximize what I am and who I am. The desire to see what I'm capable of. That's really what it comes down to. And I think the same is probably true for you as well. And I think that therapy and healing some of that stuff would most likely just amplify all that. But again, who knows? And I hold the humility to say, I thought it was going to take away my drive. And if anything, it's gotten way more, to the point where I am even less relatable, I think, than I ever was before.
Well, time will tell. And we'll find out. You know, I'm nervous about it, but there's also that piece of me that I'll just be very honest and say, look, I feel like I have a lot of self-awareness. I feel like I've worked very diligently on that, and I think I have a pretty good idea of why I do most of the things that I do. Maybe I haven't uncovered the final couple blocks. I'm sure I haven't, right? Of some of them. Maybe some I have. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it is I aspire, you said this behind the scenes, I aspire to be the person now. I don't need to be in shape. I mean, I do for my standard. And that's my truth. It's not, I'm not okay with not being in shape. I'm just not. I'm not as fulfilled. I'm just not. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I want to be in shape.
I think that's how you know that it's based on true self and not healing based on wounding or low self-worth. You took it past fulfillment last time. In bodybuilding, you were unfulfilled and still doing it anyway. That is an indicator that it's the opposite of wounding or low self-worth or compensating or whatever. But the fact that you are unfulfilled when you're not in shape now means that you're back in alignment.
That's
to
my,
me.
That's my truth. There no dad bod. I don't want to have a dad bod. I don't have kids, but I don't want to have a dad bod. That's not okay for me. I don't care if my wife wants it. I don't care if Alan wants. I don't care. This is for me. This is. I don't tell you how to live your life. Collective you. If I am more fulfilled, and I'm not hurting anybody, and I'm more productive, and I'm healthier, because I'm not taking this to an extreme. I have plenty of weight to lose. If I could continue going, there's more weight to lose. I'm not at a sickly, deathly weight. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm in the healthy ranges for sure. So it's not like I'm hurting myself. You know. That's
so for the listeners,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I don't know what when we have to go.
Yeah, we have 14 minutes between now and our next call, but we should probably
terrible.
We should probably hop off here.
I like it. If we have 14 minutes, we're good. I just don't want to miss my next coaching call.
Yeah.
For the listeners, analyze and assess. I mean, that was movie day Kev, but what's movie day listener? Metaphorical listener, whoever you are. And rewatch the movie of your life and say, okay, all right, yeah. So that makes sense. When my stepdad left and took a lot of the income, it made sense to try to achieve my way to wealth because I thought wealth was going to make everything better. And it did, but it didn't make everything better. It made wealth better.
Things, yeah.
It made money better. But then you evolve and realize, okay, so that's awesome. Okay, there's 1/3 of the equation. Now it's time for health. And I did that, and I lost the wealth. And then I had to do the health and the wealth, and now relationship. Now I'm in love. So you health, wealth, and love, and your own unique standards, your own unique whatever you were running. I think a lot of us feel massive pain, and then we tell ourselves a story about that pain, and then we run in the opposite direction of whatever that pain was. So if you had parents who were workaholics, maybe you learned how to R&R because you didn't want to end up like them versus some people who model them. So figure out what direction did you slingshot in the opposite direction of your deepest pain. And then how do you identify that and then decide what direction you want to go in from here? Because I feel the same way you do. I don't ever want to be out of shape. I remember being skinny and lanky and weak and frail and overlooked. Emilia jokes with me all the time. She says, "You're so naive with women in the gym. Like she's bidding for your attention." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Sweetheart, you were hot in high school. I was completely just not sought after." So she thinks I'm an idiot. But when it comes to that, but I was never the guy. And so I want everyone to become their own hero. I think that's awesome. I think it's great. I think if you're your own hero from an authentic, non-ego place, I think that's what hopefully NLU helps everybody do.
And that's the ultimate thought is it's a choice. It's your if you have the choice, you get to do what you want. If you want to be smarter because you want to be smarter, be smarter. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. Maybe it's if it's running you and I must get smarter to prove that version of me wrong. Maybe that's not healthy. I don't know. Again, I have a weird relationship with beating myself up. When you have high standards, sometimes you have what might be considered not so positive self-talk. But I think if you can handle the self-talk, it's not that negative. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So do what feels right for you. Do what is best for you. Don't necessarily let me influence you in that way. But you have a choice, and it's up to you to make the choice. And at least if you understand why you're making the choice, then you can decide whether or not to make the choice from that inspiration moving forward. All right. If you're struggling with this, if you feel like your self-worth is holding you back, if you feel like you don't really know why you're trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve, and you think it might be something very, very deep, Alan is doing free calls with listeners. I'm happy to do it too. I just genuinely don't think I can add as much value on this stuff as Alan, so that's why I don't do it. But we'll have our emails, Kevin@nextleveluniverse.com, Alan@nextleveluniverse.com. And if you want to hop on a call, it's totally free. We're not going to sell you on anything. This is literally what we did in the beginning. In the beginning, I would give out my phone number, and I would hop on FaceTimes with the listeners, and it was the best thing in the world. It was awesome. And I love doing calls like that, and I know Alan loves doing calls like that. If you're looking for a coach, you should probably book the call with Alan. If you're looking just to chat, I'll put my email, and you can shoot me an email, and I'm happy to hop on a Zoom and whatever. We can talk about unicorns and horses and whatever, movies, whatever will add value. So we'll have that in the show notes. Kevin and Alan at nextleveluniverse.com is our emails respectively.
Yeah, in hindsight, over the last 7 years, meeting our listeners has been one of the most incredible things we've ever done. We really, if you're listening to this consistently and you're putting in the work and you're trying to get better every day, we would love to meet you. So email me, email Kev, and we will jump on a Zoom.
The old Zoom machine.
And if anyone's intimidated, I don't want anyone to feel intimidated. I don't know what to say about it. People have told me I'm intimidating.
We're weirder behind the scenes. Yeah, we're weirder behind the scenes than we are here. Yeah, we're weird.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you are intimidated.
100%.
And again, I don't want to presuppose you are, because maybe I'm not intimidating. I don't know, but
no, I think you're not. Not to me, at least. Maybe some people. No. Well, and this is the other thing too. Most people aren't gonna offer that. Most people are never gonna do that because it's not. Oh yeah, my time is more valuable than that. My time. I don't give my time away for free. Why don't you get over yourself, you son of a bee? We do. We give our time away for free all the time. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. I love it. And that's how we built it. So we'll have our emails in the show notes. Again, if you're feeling brave, if you're feeling courageous, or maybe you're feeling stuck and you just feel like, you know what, a conversation might help, maybe a new perspective, we would love to chat with you. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.